Alright guys, here we go. We're talking about the USPS simulator. Lake. It's a 2021 adventure game where you basically deliver packages in the small, picturesque town of Providence Oaks, Oregon. It was developed by a company called the US government, Gamius, and published by Whitehorn Games. It actually takes place in 1986, and the woman you play as is named Meredith. Her parents are away on vacation, so she's holding down the fort while also being in charge of the town's mail service, since her dad is the local postmaster. The small rural town is a far cry from what Meredith is used to, as she's a software developer from the big city. And as the story progresses, we get to see how this change of pace affects her life. Things can go a variety of ways for her, as there are multiple endings. Speaking of that, the way to get these multiple endings is through dialogue options, and as the mail carrier, every day you have different addresses to deliver to. Whether it be people's residences, the local mechanic shop, video store, lumberyard, diner, or other establishment.
News goes around pretty quickly around here. So, coffee? Something stronger? I warn you, I will not take no for an answer.
Coffee sounds good. Thanks.
2 coffee, coming right up. And 1 piece of blueberry pie, if I remember correctly.
The gameplay essentially consists of waking up each day, getting in the mail truck, driving and delivering mail while interacting with various people, while ending the day with a choice of how to spend the evening, with the occasional phone call here and there.
Bert doesn't like to talk much, but he's got a heart of gold. Stay on his good side. Speaking of staying on the good side, we're going to a movie.
Okay, Dad, don't keep her waiting. What movie?
Stand By Me, about 4 Oregon boys in the 50s. Right up my alley.
Sounds good. Say hi to Mom for me.
Will do. Bye, Meredith.
So as far as the gameplay goes, you have both driving and on-foot gameplay. While you're driving, you can only go so fast, and it's best to obey the traffic laws unless you want to run into another car, a stop sign, or God forbid, a person. It also makes the game feel more realistic. The mechanics are very simple. You have the option to turn on the radio, which will give you some generic, albeit not terrible, easy listening music. It's either that or ride around and enjoy the scenery and peace and quiet. The walking is very slow, so it's not realistic to get out and explore. It's best to just drive to every single location and get out every time, as annoying as that sounds. You also can't drive next to a mailbox and drop the mail in like what you would see in real life, which I found kind of odd. And while the mail is being delivered each day, you can come across certain people who may need assistance, and with all the dialogue choices, you can choose to help them or not. But helping them is the best option because it adds gameplay variety, and it's also required for many of the game's trophies.
He runs the bait shop by the lake. He'll know what to do.
Sure, I'll get right on it. Here, little kitty, come on.
Wonderful! Be nice to Meredith, Mortimer. Don't shed too much hair in her van now.
Speaking of trophies, the game has a very easy list. There are only 12 trophies in total, so that's not really very many. The platinum should only take you a few hours, especially if you have a guide. Most of them require certain dialogue choices or at least some form of intentionality. And the gameplay hook along with the story, it's not a very impressive game visually, but its technical shortcomings feel less important when compared to the gameplay itself. The overall vibe and feel of the game reminds me a lot of classics like Twin Peaks and Alan Wake, in very subtle ways of course. Unlike those IP though, Lake is a relaxing and carefree experience. I think the game was made to make players feel a certain way, and that definitely worked for me. I play a lot of games on a regular basis, but Lake stands out as one that I can just boot up, knowing I'm about to have a relaxing, yet fun experience. So Lake is definitely an indie game that I highly recommend whether it's on sale or not. So guys, those are my thoughts on the game Lake. Have you played it? What are your thoughts on it? Sound off in the comments below, and if you're enjoying my videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to stay notified for future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Why stare at a boring lake when you can go to outer space and watch the Death Star get blown up?
Maybe I should watch more movies.